So I sat here a while back and I said some sort of flat ceiling, and within that ceiling I'm thinking of a hatch what opens up and then the TV comes out of the hatch, all with the press of a button. So that took a little longer than I expected. Quite intricate. Once I darkened it off, I could hardly see the lines, but we've got it together now, so moving on. So now I've trimmed the outsides off. I'm going to mark up the middle. I'm going to cut the hatch out. I'll just take a moment to explain what we've done. I've put the hatch on, if you want to call it. I've lined it up with the locating marks so it lines up exactly underneath, and also I've got some oak. I've rebaited a little rebate out, so when that piece goes on it acts like a little lip, so when you look underneath you don't see any light shining through. And also I've just packed it up ever so slightly on some penny washers to give it a bit of play. We'll do the same with this piece. 2 washers on, and that should give us enough play for when the hatch slides back. So we're just about to split the door into 2. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but just in case the glue seeped in where it shouldn't. So we'll cut through the plywood and see if it works. I can't tell if I've cut all the way through the plywood, I think. I just want a bit of persuasion. Oh, she went. I've got some window regulators. These are off a Nissan Juke, so we'll try and utilise these. I think we're going to have to slide it down because it didn't actually meet in the middle section. It's about 3 inches short, so maybe slide it down and we'll try that. So I've moved it down. It's catching on there. Seems to work, but the only thing is it's catching on this little thing here, so if I cut that nut off, it should be good to go, I think. So I've just made this. When the shutters close, it'll act as like a bump stop, and also when it goes in, we can use that to weld as TV bracket to, as like legs if you want to call it, once we get down to doing that. Lovely. So moving on now, we'll have a look at how the TV is going to come out of the hatch once it opens. It seems to be crashing on that point there, so I'm going to have to, I think, move these brackets to the outside so it's just got a little tiny bit more, so it just, because the telly will be slightly at an angle, so we'll adapt that, we should be right. So a bit of success. It took some finding that crucial point, that pivot point. I've clamped and adjusted and messed about, but we've got there. So big strip down, and then we'll wire it all up. I'm just finishing up the last of the wiring now. So just before we install the ceiling to position, I'm just going to explain the wiring. So the wiring comes through, the first power source comes through these limit switches, this one and this one. So when the doors retract, that turns the first power supply to each motor off, and then when it hits this limit switch, the second one, that then sends power through the limit switch onto the TV RAM, and as that goes down, obviously that'll turn that off. So once the TV bracket's down, the first power supply goes through this limit switch. Once it raises, it hits that, then sends power back to these relays, which powers the motors, which then will close the doors until it hits these limit switches, and then it turns off. So this was definitely an ambitious one, but we've nailed it. It took me a lot longer than I expected to do this project. A lot of wiring, a lot of moving parts, a lot of trial and error, but I got there in the end. So thanks for watching.